Welcome to On Ice, the show about the show 20 years later. Today, we're talking about Lost, Season 5, Episodes 3 and 4. I'm Will. Also here is Ben, and you can watch full video episodes of the podcast on YouTube. Ben and I also release a bonus hangout show every week that can be found at patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. How's it going, Ben?
I'm doing well. I procrastinated these episodes even further, but not in a bad way, in a good way. Well, actually, today was a little bit of a my fault. A mea
Are you
culpa.
watching them right now? Do you have like the TV on in the background?
No. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not at that. I'm not at that level. But I was telling you before we got on that Shelly and I were racing home for this recording because we had been out shopping for furniture, and I watched the second half of the second episode in the Uber home.
That's you can't be doing that. That is not showing. I doubt your commitment to sparkle motion, Ben.
Well, I guess you probably do this. I was going to ask, do you watch every single one with volume on 100 on 4K TV every time, which is actually probably true for you.
Yeah,
you have
I watch it on
good setup.
What are you talking about? No, you're supposed to watch this with a volume off and like in direct sunlight or something. I'm paying attention to the show. I'm watching the show.
Well, I'm paying attention to the show too. I just happen to be paying attention.
You can't be watching this in the back of an Uber. That's crazy.
It was a one-time thing, but I've also seen all these before in pure.
That is a good point. That's an
8K,
important part
4K,
of this.
whatever, Yeah. So it's okay. It's okay, folks. I've seen it
also,
all before.
All of this happened to you. You're pulling on personal experience as well. This is kind of like the Ben story.
Yeah, I was lost once, and now I'm found.
My guest today, Amazing Grace. Welcome to the show.
There's no real addition to this thought that I'm going to throw out there, but I thought it was funny to myself imagining this week, what if Lost was called Loose instead? And it just seems like a fun little name. What if it was called Loose instead? Like I said, there's not much more. There's nothing more to that at all.
Sorry, I'm a little distracted.
Imagine it.
And I'm trying to think about the right way to bring this up and how to politely ask the question that's on my mind. You said you bought some chairs, got some furniture. Yeah. What's going on with your posture right now? You got like a shoulder thing going on. Listen, I've never seen that from you.
I was sitting down and sideways to show my dominance,
You got
like
the furniture that you picked up on Facebook Marketplace are like medieval torture instruments. Kind of seemed like you had the being stretched out there. Okay, we're good.
Like this.
I wouldn't bring it up. I just know that your shoulders aren't actually like that. So like if you had the Quasimodo condition, I wasn't gonna like call you out on it.
Okay. Well, I'm sitting up straight now. I'll pretend that I'm in an interview since I'm being harangued by my co-host.
Well, if you're gonna slack on when and how you're watching the episodes, the least you could do is sit up straight when you're recording the show. God damn it! All right.
I still refuse to take any slack for the when part because I think I'm actually planning the best by making everything as fresh as possible in my mind. I've done nothing except for set up my computer for 15 minutes. Except for that, I've done nothing after watching the episodes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess I did stop to shop for furniture for a while, but nothing's happened since I watched the second half of the second episode.
Well, let's talk about the first episode. Well, at least let's talk about overall thoughts here. I think what Lindelof and company have done with these episodes so far and this season, they've pulled off a neat trick. They've made the island feel new and dangerous again, is what I mean by that. We hadn't exactly figured out all the island's mysteries up to this point, but we had presumably a pretty good idea of at least who the players were on the field, but and like kind of the geography of it a little bit, not like actually, but we kind of know that, you know, the characters, they're familiar enough with the island. But now that we're bouncing around through time, previously familiar areas have this and have like entirely new layers to them, and it feels fresh. It's really cool.
Sure. Literally a season of, well, so far, a season of what's old is new again.
Yeah. No, you're the gamer between us. Have you played Tunic?
Nope. Sounds like a game that you're familiar with because you game more than me, which is more than zero. I game zero gaming.
Well, you've been looking at games recently, or like you've been,
actually
I
have been.
Yeah,
I've been playing that Death Stranding game, which was the game that I saw that game and I was like, And then a couple of years later, I thought I would like to. I would like to play that game. I would like to play that game, and then
it goes out of control this episode. Yeah,
and then I bought an Xbox and learned that game is explicitly for the PlayStation and not the Xbox. So I kind of made a misstep with that. And then I saw, well, I guess
played the long game on it.
And then a couple more years passed, and then I saw it on the Xbox, and I thought, damn, I should play that game now.
And how is it? That's like the one where you just walk around.
Yeah, which is actually good. Genuinely a good match for me. I think I've said that before. Probably not on the Lost episodes, but on the Patreon episodes, I probably talked about how kind of walking around, that's my strong suit in a game.
The hardest sell for the Patreon we've ever had is that Ben will talk about how walking around is his favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, Tunic is a game that I played a few years ago on the Xbox, and if you're looking for another game, you should check it out. I think it's something that you might like. I think there's a Lost-like vibe to it, more importantly. From what I remember, there's a really cool part where you like revisit the very beginning of the game in a completely new perspective. You're piecing together a mystery the whole time. Like, vibes are good. I think it's like an island anyway. So yeah, puzzle stuff too. Yeah, Tunic. Anyway, let's talk about the actual episodes. This is season 5, episode 3, called Jughead. Air date January 28th, 2009, directed by Rod Holcomb, and written by Elizabeth Sarnoff and Paul Zbyszewski. I practiced beforehand. Zbyszewski. I think we're.
Were you continuing that entire time, or
no?
Is it a really long name?
It's just Zbyszewski. Paul. Zbyszewski. Yeah. I think. He didn't have a pronunciation guide somewhere, but I tried. All right. This episode opens with a flashback of Desmond Hume in the Philippines, searching for a doctor to help his wife, Penny Widmore, who is giving birth to their son, who we learn the name later in the episode, but the name is Charlie.
I did not know that was the Philippines until people started talking, I guess. But did you clock that as the Philippines?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Difficult to clock some of this stuff that Mr. Wikipedia man seems to think that we all recognize.
Well, some of this is like a lot of times, like the Wikipedia stuff is like it'll drop the years that everything happens in. But those are definitely not like on screen or said in the episode. So that's definitely something that has been pieced together after the fact. And so I'll take that for granted. For like, I don't know, maybe there's like zoom out and then you just see like a map where it says Philippines later, like yeah, maybe from another perspective we'll see that. I don't know. Desmond and Sawyer have an ongoing who can button their shirt the least competition, and that's always fun.
Yep.
I thought they were the Lost effect is something that like I suspect there's gonna be a twist in like like every single scene. And so I kind of thought that they were gonna like kidnap the doctor, like they were looking for that, like it was gonna be a fake birth situation, and for some reason they're gonna kidnap the doctor. I don't know why. No idea.
Maybe there's going to be a surprise birthday party for him. Are you? Because he was asking for the guy's name.
Yeah.
Right. The doctor. I need the doctor. It's a birth. It's a birth. And then bust through a thing, and everybody says, "Surprise! It's your birthday. Happy
Day
birthday!
party.
Happy birthday! I'm a guy you've never met before."
Ultimate surprise. Someone you don't know wishing you a happy birthday. Yeah, so the kid's name is Charlie, which is a nice homage to Charlie Pace, but also kind of weird because that's Penny's dad's name.
Ooh. You know, I hadn't considered that before.
Well, no, there's 3 guys named Charlie.
3 Charlies now. Yeah. What if they're like no relation to either guy, you know? This is just another Charlie. He's named after Charlie Chaplin.
Mm-hmm. We just really like Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. Charlie Chaplin. British? American.
My latest. My latest in the Atlantic. Charlie Chaplin, British? No idea.
Can't really say. He didn't do a lot of talking.
I'm guessing an American.
Never really heard him. It's kind of hard to tell back then. Silent movies.
Oh, he was English. Damn. That was off. I figured because he went with the mustache that I was like, he's got to be American because like you couldn't get away with that like in Europe, like so close to the other guy who had that. But I guess he was really pushing it.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm pissed off at the like nautical old money aesthetic that like Penny and Desmond and the child have. They have like a kid has like a knit sweater on.
Oh, the fashion aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yes. I would say also potentially that's even eclipsed by the fact that they are literally old money on a boat.
Penny is, yeah.
Living on a boat. I mean, Penny's old money, yeah, but they're living on a boat. That's a choice.
Actually, I don't know where the Widmore, is the Widmore fortune recent or ancient?
Well, interesting.
Because we do see some like potential origins or earlier Widmoring around in these episodes. But yeah.
It's true.
Last episode, Daniel Faraday visited Desmond during the island's time traveling. He told Desmond to look for Daniel's mother, but was not able to finish telling him her name before another time jump. And so in this episode, Desmond's telling Penny, like, all right, I've got to find Daniel's mother, brother. He's calling his wife brother.
Yeah.
And Penny is reluctant to indulge this quest and is skeptical of Desmond's mission. And I have a question. Why is she skeptical? That's how they got together. Like
yeah. She seems to be into his,
like ultimately by the end of the episode, yes. But like initially she's like, what are you talking about? Some guy came to you in your dream and told you that you need to go do something? Like that's the whole thing, right? Like that's how like you guys got together.
That's how you got
reconnected.
Together. I feel like, if a, kind of mystical thing happens to you, maybe I'm taking it for granted. Mystical thing happens to you, you normally assume that person's a little more open to mystical stuff the rest of their life, Yeah,
I guess like
Desmond told
Locke is the only one where that actually works, right? I mean, Desmond does the empiricists. There we go. Desmond Hume and John Locke are. I think that's the cool thing about the philosopher take on this is that like the empiricist when faced with the actually fantastic like the honest empiricist would incorporate that into their worldview, and it is the man of science like Jack, for example, who is like denying despite evidence in front of him, that is like continues to be skeptical. But I guess that's cool that like both Desmond and Locke are, you know, willing to go along with it. But apparently people criticize this episode because Penny is such a doormat, like that, because she just like goes along with Desmond's schemes. And I feel like I'm sexist here because I'm like, she's being hysterical. No, but she's being like a stick in the mud or something. You know, like she's
Yeah, I kind of felt that way too. That she's
okay.
being a little it seemed out of character to me, that how pessimistic she is.
Yeah. Why wasn't she?
You got a quirked out husband. You already knew this.
Exactly.
Desmond
I guess,
also, side note, because we've already kind of passed it. Desmond makes he does a little, lost-ism. So there's probably a better word for this. Not the lost-ism part, but what's this trope? He's like, son, Charlie, look,
brother,
look,
son, brother.
son, brother, look out there. Out there, there's an island, and it's a magical island. It's filled with magical things and people that make all your wildest dreams come true. And it's called Great Britain.
Yeah. Yeah, which I've noticed, I've noted down here as actually like an error that they made in this episode, like in this script here, where he refers to Great Britain as a magical good place. It's actually
Yeah.
not true. So get a little blooper by the writers here. But yeah, a little misdirection because you think it's going to be the island, but no.
The island. But I like it because listeners of the show know I'm a big advocate of pointing out the fact, referring to the fact that that place is an island, whatever it might be called. UK, Britain, Great Britain, England, Scotland, the Isles, whatever. Don't know the difference, but that's an island. The same as
or
the Lost Island.
Some islands, yeah.
Makes you think.
He also says something to Penny to like comfort her, and he says, I won't let anything bad happen to you, which is something that it's like a common thing you say in a TV show and a movie. But has anyone in history ever been comforted by that? Like, don't worry, I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you. Like, if someone told me that, I'd be like, shut up, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Don't know. That is annoying.
Doesn't seem very effective. Yeah.
That's why I never say it. I never reassure anyone.
I would never say that.
I would never reassure anyone of anything.
I can reassure this. Like, everything is probably going to be okay. We don't know it could be really bad. I'm not going to start talking about.
This could get ugly. That's what I say to everyone in any kind of situation.
Person,
yeah.
But I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you. What are you talking about? Bad stuff is always happening. And
then other characters who hear that shit in TV shows, they love to turn around and say, how can you guarantee? How can you guarantee that? How can you, there must be another word for guarantee. How can you promise that? Don't know. Your thing sounds just as dumb as the thing that I said.
We're just two dumbasses talking to each other, okay? There's not really much of a reason. All right. In 2007, Desmond and Penny arrive in London, good old London town, where Desmond plans to look for Daniel Faraday's mother, who is believed to be at Oxford University. However, the university has no record of either Faraday, even though Daniel was a professor there. Desmond has a insane university fit going on. He's got like sunglasses, scarf, jacket, and jeans. Like this guy, Harry Ian Cusick, or whatever this guy's name is, the actor, he's very good looking guy, but they've got him in like the crazy mid 2000s get up here that looks really stupid.
Can you imagine with me again, folks.
Yes. Mine's like,
What if it wasn't? What if it wasn't Oxford? What if he was from America? What if he was? They were like,
sent to the University of Iowa.
You have to go to the University of Arizona. You have to go to the University of Iowa. And he's like rolling into Iowa City, and it's like a Saturday during football or whatever.
Yeah, you'll know that it's my mother. She'll be wearing black and yellow overalls, and then he's looking around at the sea of 1,000 undergrads wearing black and yellow overalls.
He's talking to the librarian who, later tells him, we don't have any record of that person because it seems like something suspect has gone on with him at the university. He has been canceled. The university has disappeared him.
Yeah, he was teaching a woke class. He was teaching gender, so he's been disappeared.
I'm looking for Jerry Sandusky.
Okay.
We have no record.
There, yeah.
We have no record of Jerry Sandusky. I was trying to think of somebody that an American university would disappear. Joe, I came here and I talked to Joe Paterno.
You can't think of a person an American university would disappear in this week.
I can think of, yes, but I was trying to think of something a little more. Well, it sounds weird to say it this way, but I was trying to think of something a little more.
That's like the biggest thing that happened in civil liberty issues.
Well, yes, I was trying to think of something a little more fun, but I realized also Jerry Sandusky it's not really fun.
Sandusky, nice, all right.
Yeah.
Things are fraught. Yeah, the librarian pulls people may are probably coming to this podcast hot off of the Dr. Skeleton's coverage of the Star Wars films, and so you might remember Attack of the Clones, this very thing happening where Obi-Wan goes to the archives and asks for records on Kamino, and the archivist goes, well, there's no records of that. If it doesn't, if it's not in the archives, it doesn't exist. That's what's going on here.
I don't recall that part. I know I saw the movie.
Time for a rewatch.
Yeah.
I can do that now. Desmond breaks into Faraday's lab, which he visited during the events of The Constant, and he searches it. He meets a janitor who tells him that Faraday conducted experiments on a woman and provides an address for her. Crazy OPSEC from the janitor, but sure.
Maybe he's not a janitor. Maybe he's something big. Who knows?
Could be. I could not get over his voice. I was convinced that it was an American guy doing a voice like a fake.
Oi, mister. Oi, mister. Nobody's been in here for 30 years.
Yeah, it's straight up so goofy. And he also has like a really weird line too. He says, he's like, all right, let's come to a deal. Tell your friends that all you found was rubbish left behind by a man.
It's like a Nancy Drew video game background character voice,
Yeah. Well, like, what do you mean? It was all just like rubbish left behind by a man. What? But the actor is Dan Hildebrandt. He is apparently British and appeared in 6 episodes of Deadwood as 2 different characters. So, cool. I guess he was doing an American voice in that show. I don't know, man. His voice is crazy though. Desmond goes to the house. He finds that the woman is in a vegetative state after experiencing temporal disassociation, similar to Desmond's experience on the freighter. He learns that Penny's father, Charles Widmore, is not only paying her medical expenses, but also funded Daniel's research. Daniel is a Widmore operative. Desmond confronts Widmore in the office, who gives him the address of Daniel's mother in Los Angeles. Or in Los Angeles, as they say. Desmond returns to Penny, who does finally now agree that they must travel to Los Angeles. Actually, he was going to give it up. He was like, oh, it turns out she's dead. And Penny's like, why are you lying, Desmond? He's like, I'm not lying. He's like, you're lying to me. What happened? And Desmond says, okay, fine. She's in Los Angeles. She's like, all right, let's go to Los Angeles then. We're in it together.
He's such an easy one to lie about, you know? Nothing happened. I'm thinking we're going to Los Angeles we're taking our houseboat to
Well, he
Los
wants to
Angeles.
like put it to bed. He's saying like we're not going to chase it at all.
I know, but he, like she says, he wants to. He wants to. He doesn't want to be done.
Desmond, you really want this.
You'll never let it go.
It's a part of you.
Yeah.
In 1954, Juliet, Locke, and Sawyer interrogate the two men that they have captured. Juliet deduces that they are members of the others because they can speak Latin. She says it's Others 101. It's the language of the enlightened to
Being
learn Latin.
Transported back to, the 5th century or something like that. Whatever century they actually spoke Latin in that we all know. And I think these people are others, given that they are speaking Latin, the language best associated with the others.
They are Latinos because they're speaking Latin. Right? So that works?
Yep.
Okay.
I agree.
Elizabeth Mitchell, actress who plays Juliet, reportedly, who I like a great deal, but she reportedly learned as much Latin as she could for this episode. You're like, oh, cool, dedication to the role. Following it up by saying she spent the whole weekend trying to learn the language on the phone with a Latin professor. Which,
I've been studying all weekend.
Yeah, I think she does a great job. I don't know if that really counts for much, though. On the phone with the Latin professor over the weekend.
Did she do those Santa Claus movies before or after Lost?
I'm not familiar with her non-Lost work.
She did Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen.
Ah, that's too bad. Or good.
Maybe good. Don't know if that's what Lost transitioned into for her or led to this, but either way, thumbs up. Wonder what she studied for that one.
She's weirdly enough, Tim Allen was having her learn Latin for completely different reasons. Part of his reactionary training there. All right, so one of the men that they captured is revealed to be a young Widmore. He kills the other when he agrees to lead them to Richard Alpert and flees to his campsite to warn his people. Juliet's talking with him in Latin, and she goes, Ricardus Alpert? And Locke's like, did you just say Richard Alpert?
Yeah, that was great.
Damn, Locke, do you know Latin?
Ooh.
It's like, you see posts like this all the time where people make that stupid joke that's like, oh, wow, this transcends language barriers, and it's always just like some cognate thing. It's a screenshot of somebody saying something in Spanish, but then it's like,
sure,
I don't know, me gusta pornography, and they're like, wow, this transcends language barrier.
I think that I will give some credit to the Dutch ones. The Dutch ones really do.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess they're
serious problem.
Yeah,
Really
I mean, it's not just that one. Like there are so many other Dutch ones that, yeah, these are not. Maybe a language person is going to call these a cognate, but this is just, you just made this shit up. That's not a cognate. You made your language by speaking English with peanut butter in your mouth or something.
Yeah. So Locke follows this. So Widmore has Jones on his shirt, though. It doesn't say Widmore. So he's got a.
He's jonesing.
He's jonesing. Well, he's got a secret identity. Locke follows him and meets with Alpert using Jacob's name and the compass, which convinces Alpert to he uses the compass that Alpert gave him to gain his trust. However, Alpert is not entirely convinced. But part of that, yeah, like Widmore's like pointing a gun at Locke, and Albert goes like, "Lower!" I said, "Lower your gun, Widmore." So like, he's not like, it's not like actually a secret identity. He was just like wearing some guy's shirt that said Jones. Was that so? That was just so
I think that was just
only. So that was only so only Locke knows that that's Widmore, right? So now like, Juliet and Sawyer don't know that like that's actually Widmore.
I guess, yeah. I think it's maybe just convenient to have him wear somebody else's laundry for the day because then you can reveal that at the
Yeah, I'm saying like
opportune
it's a little
time.
bit of an artificial reveal is the thing.
Yeah, yeah. That's okay. Locke's reaction is very funny. You're you're Charles Widmore? Like, yeah, what's it to you?
What
and
is
then
it
Locke,
to
and
you,
then,
you sodding old man?
and then Locke is just like, LOL, LMAO. You don't even know, but I am laughing on the inside.
Yeah.
You'll see someday, my dude. If you knew what I knew right now, you'd also be LMAOing.
You would also idge ball. Locke tells Albert to visit him after he is born in 1956. Locke attempts to convince Albert to show him how to leave the island, but he runs out of time as the next time shift jump occurs. Yeah, like a little bit earlier, like they were like looking down at the camp, and Juliet says to Locke, like, "Oh, Albert's gonna be down there." And Locke says, like, "How do you know that?" And she says, "Oh, Richard's always there." How old is he? And she just says, "Old." That's all we got.
Yep.
At the same time as all this is happening, the freighter team, consisting of Miles, Charlotte, and Daniel, are captured by another group of others, led by Ellie. Faraday deduces that the American military had come to the island to test hydrogen bombs, and that the others killed them and are in possession of a bomb. To me, this seems like probably a theory or something that's been like, you know, fans have probably been talking about since the show started. Like, if we're talking about like weird stuff that's happening in this region of the world, there's probably going to be some element of like the nuclear bomb testing and stuff, Bikini Atoll, things like that.
Sure.
And so like this is finally them like working it into it, or like addressing that to some extent.
I gotta say, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what you call that. It's not really an aesthetic. I guess it kind of maybe could get considered that way. Can consider that now, but it's cool.
Like the bomb stuff.
Yeah, the bomb stuff. You know, the aesthetic where you kind of decorate your island with like H bombs, just kind of hanging around. That's cool.
Yeah. When he convinces Albert to let him defuse the bomb, Albert counters and asks Faraday to prove that he is not on a suicide mission to detonate the bomb. Faraday then confesses his love for Charlotte as a proof that he will not detonate the bomb on purpose. Oh, it's because I love her. He's in whisper mode.
He was big time. He wasn't quite Jeff Goldblum this time, but he was like a deep whisper for these two episodes.
I really like his performance, or I think he can give a good performance when he's not doing the whisper thing. Like, I wish he just wasn't doing the whisper stuff.
I don't know. I guess the whisper kind of works, but it is still annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I look like a suicide bomber to you? That woman back there.
I'm not sure what you look like. Your tie is crazy. Yeah.
I don't think they really had back then in the 50s. You're a guy with like a skinny tie and a skinny shirt. They'd be like, have you been wearing that shirt since you were like a toddler? You know, did you get stranded on this island? Did you like go to a wedding as a little kid and then get stranded on the island? Why are your clothes so tight? Why Why is that tie so small?
I feel like skinny ties were a thing before the 2000s, and it was like, and it might have been in the 50s.
Maybe, I don't know. But I feel like in the 50s it probably had like this extremely literal uh social like hierarchy thing. Like people know you got a lot of
Skinny
money
tie
if you
first became popular in the 1950s and 1960s.
really. But is it like
It
a
was a rebellious statement against traditional fashion,
okay, there
popularized
you
by
go.
by British bands like the Beatles and the Kinks.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Because I feel like before then people would have thought like, if you got a big fat tie, that means you got a lot of money because you can afford more tie. But if you got
Yeah,
if you
more
got a
tie per tie. Yeah.
skinny tie, the skinniest ties are for the poorest or lowest people in society or something like that. And it's just very
And so those like bolo
literal.
ties that are just like the little string. You're like, oh my gosh, you must be the poorest of all.
You got a
You
you
can
got
only
a
afford a clasp.
shoelace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh, Ellie leads Faraday to the bomb, the titular Jughead. And after an inspection, he discovers that it is leaking radiation. Faraday immediately advises Ellie that the bomb should be buried and will not go off for at least 50 years, inadvertently revealing that he's from the future.
The way he says it though is like not. I mean, a lot of people do this in this show. Like the way he says it would not tip off any real
Yeah, it wouldn't
person
tip
to
me
him
off.
being that's just like a turn of phrase. If he's
Yeah,
just like,
it'll be fine for 50 years.
it'll be fine for 50, and she's like, whoa, whoa,
You know that for sure?
oh, you're from the future.
You must be from the future. Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, it's gonna be all right. Like, oh, how do you know? You must be from the future.
Are you God? This guy knows what's gonna happen. He knows that we're gonna be okay. I trust him instantly now.
We're gonna have a good time tonight. God? But this does raise an opportunity for Daniel to tell Ellie about 9/11. He says 50 years from now, everything will be fine. 47 years from now, however, something nuts is gonna happen. You are not gonna believe this.
Yep.
Ellie doesn't believe him.
But with the way I was thinking about the 9/11 thing, of course. You know that. I was holding myself back from it.
I already
But
know.
I was thinking about it. And I gotta say, like with the lost logic, they say like you can't change anything in the past.
Mhm.
But like what if Daniel told them and then it turns out, lost logic would be like then those guys, people, they caused it. He caused it,
Mm-hmm.
What's the woman's name? I just think of her as the Korean
Ellie.
redhead, even though she's not Korean, but she speaks Korean. Ellie? Her name is
What?
Ellie?
Oh no, Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Who's Ellie?
The new lady that Faraday's talking to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Charlotte. Yeah.
Well,
Charlotte.
yeah, we have it- that
Charlotte
is it,
goes
right?
on to. She did she went on to do 9/11.
Very good.
There's nothing else.
Oi! Let's roll. Ellie doesn't believe him, but Juliet and Sawyer show up and disarm her. The time shift jump occurs once again, and the group is safe. But Charlotte suddenly collapses with a nosebleed. I like Sawyer and Juliet as a couple. They balance each other out well. They're not like a couple yet, but like as a pairing, I like
Yes,
them.
I did
Good
like
dynamic.
one thing around this time. I like Juliet better in these episodes because she's the most reasonable person, the most normal person,
Level-headed.
out of everyone. Yes, which I appreciate. Calm in the moment. At one point, Sawyer's doing his yelling thing, and she's just like, "Sawyer, go away."
Yeah.
like
I'm
that.
glad you brought this up because what he's yelling is like Charlotte is like passed out on the ground, like bleeding, like from her head. And he's like, what the hell's wrong with her? Like he's like very like frustrated with her. Yeah. And she's like, Sawyer, just go stand over there for a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess that happens in the beginning of the next episode. But yeah, I'm going to give this episode a 3 out of 5. I'm still interested in the show.
This is a 4 for me. I like this. We've been disagreeing slightly lately.
Yeah.
But this is a good one. This is I really like this one.
It's pretty good. Yeah. 3. This episode of Lost on Ice is brought to you by Ben and I. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and telling a friend about the show. And telling a friend about I slipped into a Daniel there for a second. Season 5, episode 4, called The Little Prince. This aired February 4th, 2009. It was directed by Stephen Williams, and it was written by Brian K. Vaughan and Melinda Sue Taylor. I gotta say, I was expecting a very bad episode. I was in a terrible mood.
I was expecting a True Detective style Yellow King situation episode. Oh, the Little Prince.
Who is the Little Prince?
We're getting a new character. The little boy.
There's gonna be a little. I was in a terrible mood because the Blu-ray that we were watching it on was. I talked about it last week, but the features on it were getting in the way. It was crazy. It was like whatever.
Did you know?
I don't want to get into it, but there was a whole thing. You put in the first disc, and it's like, do you want to select disc 1 or disc 2? Like, well, I'm not gonna watch the things the disc 1, and then so like I finished the episodes in disc 1, and it's all right. Here's disc 2. So I pressed disc 2. It's like insert disc 2. Like, well, don't tell me you have disc 2 then. Anyway, really bad menu design.
What in the world is this Blu-ray situation going on? You put in a disc and it tells you to put in the next disc. This is weird technology.
I hate it.
Big
I don't
Blu-ray.
like that.
I'm a big Blu-ray head. You know that? I'm a disc man.
You're a disc man.
Never seen anything like that before.
It's definitely the craziest DVD menu situation that I've ever encountered. It's very bad experience.
Yeah.
But
Lost.
follow me on the show. Looks great.
Lost my temper, more like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's just like in that era where they're struggling to make the Blu-ray experience relevant, so they're just packing it with crazy features and just like overburdening the menus with incomprehensible garbage, and it just makes it like really frustrating to operate now. But let's talk about what actually happens. This episode opens, but I just wanted to paint a picture of like my headspace when we started this. I was insanely pissed. This episode opens with a flashback of Kate and Jack on Penny's boat following their rescue in early January 2005. Kate convinces Jack that when they return home, they should claim that Aaron is Kate's biological son. Well, in fact, his mother is Claire Littleton. And I guess my question is, would they take Aaron away from Kate if she just said that she adopted him after the crash? Like, why would you be like... I guess they probably would. You can't just like take a kid.
Well, wait, are you just saying that after the crash, they're just like, she's just like, dibs, yeah. He's mine. I adopt him.
But we were all trying to survive. And I guess because they had to say that son died. Okay.
No, or that Claire died. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like he's definitely not old enough to have joined the flight. Okay, that's why.
He was born right as we hit the ground. He was.
Yeah. I don't know. There was just a baby there. Okay.
There's a baby there.
Yeah.
Maybe he caused the crash. Think about that.
Was the baby's fault? On the mainland, in late 2007, Kate leaves Aaron in the care of Son in order to confront attorney Dan Norton, who is pursuing a maternity test for Kate and Aaron. Son receives a package with a gun and chocolates and pictures of Ben and Jack.
I gotta say, if I got that package, putting the gun aside, putting those pictures aside, chocolates all day.
Yeah, going after those chocolates.
Realistically, it's probably the package is probably sitting in our inbox of mail for a long time. Ran into this in the past week. My mom was like reaching out, like, you need to RSVP to your sister's wedding. You need to RSVP to your cousin's wedding. Why haven't you responded? And I'm like, oh, I don't think I got the invites. And then I look through the mail and it's like mail from like 2 months ago or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, been dealing with that myself a little
yeah,
bit. I really like I'm like ideologically committed to like a postal service being like a good thing, and I like that. I
yeah,
just hate mail though. Like I
don't like
can't
it. Yeah.
just email me. Anything.
I don't
Everything
know if
needs
I
to be
agree
email.
with that. I guess that's bad. I guess that is better, but also don't email me either.
Well,
Don't
yeah,
reach
if you
out.
yeah, don't contact me kind of like at all. But like if it's important, email me, right? Am
I
I
gotta say,
crazy?
I gotta admit, it seems stupid, but I've been doing this jury duty thing, and they email me, and then they send me a text that says, "Check your email. We just emailed you."
Well, apparently
And it
everyone
does
is like
work.
that.
It does
Well,
work
yeah,
that way. Yeah, it works well.
I'm I'm the crazy person who like I like I'm on top of my email, and I know that's not like normal, but
Yeah,
like it's a good system. Email's great. I love email.
yeah. I mean, I've said it before. I'm an inbox zero kind of guy. I don't understand. It's kind of like the cyberbullying thing. Don't really understand how you can't be inbox zero because
Yeah, the people have like
just open it.
19,000.
Just
Just
open
look at
it.
yeah.
Just open it. It's not real.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, Sun like takes the gun out of the chocolate box, and then she's like looking at it like this, very close to her face. Check out this gun. Norton tells Kate that he is going to meet his client later, and Kate decides to follow him. Meanwhile, Ben Linus meets up with Jack and Saeed at the hospital. An orderly, armed with a tranquilizer gun, attacks Saeed, but Saeed overcomes him. And when he finds Kate's address in his wallet, he, Ben, and Jack suspect Kate is the next target. Saeed is really in born mode, and I really like it.
It's true.
It's
You
cool.
know, it just occurred to me too, though. This is why they should have hired me as Kate's lawyer. What 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 jurisdiction do they have? I'm Daniel now, by the way. What jurisdiction do they have? This child is from Australia. I stole this child from Australia and we're in America. So what are you gonna do about it?
Well, that's why there is no jurisdiction. This is like a private party thing, right? Like that, and so
Yeah.
that's addressed.
Your Honor, this child was born in an airplane in international waters, so they're free game to be trafficked.
Technically, an alien is like an out. You is technically an outer space alien. Wait, yeah. How does that work? Oh, I guess like the airplane. That's what like customs is all about, right? Is that like while you're technically like legally a part of whatever country you're leaving from until you pass through customs on the ground in the next place, right? That's how that works. Like if you committed a crime
No.
like on
I
the
don't I don't think
on the
so.
tarmac after you landed. Oh, okay.
I don't think so because different countries have different rules in their airspace. Like there are some countries, I don't know, probably don't really fly into these places anymore, but I know in the past there were some countries where it's like when you're flying in their airspace or like especially if you're going to like land there, they're like some countries in the Middle East that don't allow alcohol or whatever, like you'd have to put the alcohol away, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh, the second you get into the airspace?
Yeah, things like that, you know.
Interesting. Interesting. Uh-huh.
But Your Honor, I abducted this child out of US airspace. So technically
So
they're
it's
mine.
fine.
So
Yeah.
it's fine.
The three decide to split up, with Jack going after Kate and Saeed and Ben going to the prison where Hurley is being held. Extremely quick cut to Hurley in jail, calling Jack on the phone. That's a funny thing. Um, Saeed and Ben go to the prison in a van. Did you catch what was on the side of the van?
No, or I've forgotten. No.
The van says Canton Rainier. It's like a hyphen between the two, which is
A anagram? An anagram?
yeah, it is an anagram. It made my anagram senses perk up because it's just like one of those weird sounding things, like Hoff's Drawler, Canton Rainier. It is an anagram for reincarnation.
Interesting. Excuse me, is your company's car an anagram for reincarnation?
I'm Canton, he's Rainier, and together we're reincarnated.
I think Hurley was giving me a very I think you're a fan of this movie. You've probably seen it more recently than I have, but in the jumpsuit, he was kind of giving me like an I love you Philip Morris type of vibe going on, just being kind of like excited in jail.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Something going on there.
Trying to describe the vibes of I love you Philip Morris. He's excited in jail. That's one way to put it. Yeah. Jack and Kate follow Norton to a motel where he meets with Claire's mother, Carol Littleton. Once Norton leaves, Jack confronts Carol, who is only in Los Angeles to collect on a successful suit against Oceanic Airlines and has nothing to do with the maternity test. Although now, I suspect that now that Jack brings it up, like maybe she might try to get custody. Don't try to take that baby. It's like, what are you talking about? Nothing, actually. Never mind. At the prison, Ben meets with Norton, who is also acting as Hurley's lawyer, and is confident that he can have Hurley released the following morning. There's one lawyer in all of Los Angeles, and they're all using him.
Everyone's using him. A real, like, kind of Breaking Bad style situation. Better Call Saul situation.
Mm-hmm. Ben and Saeed meet up with Jack and Kate, where Kate figures out that Ben has hired Norton to do the maternity test. While Son, armed with a gun, watches the conversation from a car with Aaron in the backseat. Damn. Following the latest on the islands. That's done with the flash forwards. On the island, following the latest time jump, Charlotte is still unconscious. She eventually wakes up, and the group of her, Daniel Faraday, Miles Strum, John Locke, Sawyer, and Juliet leave to travel to the Dharma Initiative's Orchid Station, where Locke believes he can find a way to leave the island, as Albert tells him that he must. They keep saying, like, when are we? When were we?
When are we? Let's stop doing that, folks. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah. Just say, when is it?
What time is it?
Yeah. What year is it? Don't say, like, we get that, like.
We get it. It's fun to say
it's
one time. It's
not a where are we, it's when are we, but, like.
It's fun to say one time. You don't have to say it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
What year is it?
Several other characters begin to show similar symptoms to Charlotte's. The bloody nose. Daniel informs them that the nosebleeds may have something to do with one's time spent on the island. However, this makes no sense to several other groups, since Charlotte, who has the worst symptoms, has only been on the island for a few days. Or has she?
Maybe she's just weak. Did you guys consider that?
Yeah, she's a sickly little bird, isn't she?
She got the ginger thing going on, you know? Maybe that's it. Is that
you can say that.
I feel like that might be a thing. Yeah, I could say that.
Yeah, I don't know. Happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way. I was trying to look into like OBS plugins to have us be on leprechauns for this. But
it's a little racist. I can say that stuff, but you can't. Are you? I don't know if I'm Irish. Are you?
So you can't say it then.
I probably should have said that.
You can say like leprechaun stuff about Irish. The Irish.
Not you. I can.
I can. I can.
I don't think so.
It's fine. I'm not saying it's not racist, but it's like okay to be racist in that way.
I don't think so. I think you're
It's kind of like
you're like Polish. Your parents, your mom, your dad, or somebody's Polish.
Yeah, I mean, and you can be like racist against Polish people too, and
But
Italian
see.
stuff.
But see, you know, wait, you're Italian and Polish. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying like you can be racist to Italians.
Well, you can't.
Or it's not racist to be racist to Italians.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but you see, you know those things. I don't know anything.
There's a big one. There's a big one coming later in the episode that is going to turn this. I think you're going to end up agreeing with me that like there are groups of whites that it's okay to be racist against.
I am not agreeing with any of that. I'm not agreeing with anything.
I'm calling my shot. By the end of this episode, you're going to be like, Will's right about all of this.
No, I'm just saying that you can't do it because you know your history. See, I've safeguarded against that by knowing nothing about my family's heritage at all. You know, I'm not going to pretend.
Confirming any of this. I'm just saying you can be racist against some of these people.
I'm not.
But you're saying because you don't know, you can be racist. You can be racist.
No, I'm just saying I could say things about Irish people because maybe I am. Maybe I was. Maybe I am a leprechaun. Well, but no, but that's not true for you because you know.
Like that, huh?
Watch it.
Come get me.
Come get me. Watch it.
Are you gonna knock me with your shillelagh?
What is that?
It's the little club that they got.
Ooh, okay. Interesting. Don't know about that.
I'm like doing like Sawyer levels of advanced cultural racism.
Yeah, you're going crazy.
Yeah. All right, the latest time jump brings now that we've resolved that, the latest time jump brings the group to nighttime, where Locke observes in the distance the light coming out of the hatch, lighting up the sky, little bat signal type.
Yep.
Following screams, Sawyer witnesses the then Claire and Kate during Aaron's birth. Another time jump brings them into the future. At their abandoned beach camp, they find a canoe, which they use to paddle to the other side of the island. They are attacked by unknown assailants. This was cool. This is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing the same trick as when the tailies were first seen. Remember that? They're like darkening the assailants to silhouettes. It's very unnerving. Be this sort of like shadowy figures that are attacking them. Another time jump brings them to the past. In the middle of a storm that caused a French science team's boat led by Robert to run aground on the island. They're all going, "Ah, sacre bleu! Ah!" And this is where it's okay to, you know.
There's another goofy one where, like, it's like, ship is run aground or whatever, and then cuts to like Locke, who's like, "Anybody know French?" As his like little like, I am very smart. I understand what's going on. I didn't like that. I didn't like that part.
That doesn't happen. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it does. Locke is like, anybody know French?
Locke isn't around those guys.
Wait. Oh, sorry. No, I'm mixing up the scenes. But when Locke wait, maybe I am mixing this up. Whatever. Maybe it doesn't matter anyway.
You watch this is from future episode or something?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
At some point in these episodes, Locke says, "Does anybody speak French?"
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe okay, listeners, give me the context.
After the storm when they're on the beach.
There's only they rescue Jin.
No, backwards. Whatever, who cares? Doesn't matter anyway.
Okay. In their emergency raft, the French team, who apparently have a bunch of names, but which is Montan, Brennan, Lacombe, and Nadine, find Jin unconscious, floating on flotsam from the freighter that exploded. He's alive, folks.
Love it when
They land on the island and question
some
Jin after he
flotsam.
wakes up. Yeah, there he is. He's floating on some flotsam. The episode ends with Danielle Rousseau revealing her identity to a befuddled Jin. And he goes, "Does anyone know French?" No.
Locke definitely says that.
He doesn't. They don't encounter anyone speaking French.
When they're talking about the shipwrecking, Locke says, "Does anybody speak French?" As like a little joke.
You're right. You're right. They come across that yeah, some stuff on the
the not flotsam,
the not flotsam,
ex flotsam, now static sum,
the to be flotsam,
earthsome.
Or what? Yeah, wasn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yes.
I didn't like that. Anyway, that was just a build up for me to make the non observation. I didn't like that part.
Folks, you can stop telling me when he says that because I remember it now. Yeah, this wasn't a bad episode. Turns out, just a bad DVD experience. In fact, I'm gonna give this episode a 4 out of 5. I liked it a lot.
Interesting. Okay, we're gonna flip again because I give it a 3. A 3. It's a good episode, but it's not that.
Sure.
It's not that great. You like that analysis? It's a 3 because it's a 3 and not a 4.
That's all for the show today. If you like the show and want to hear more from Ben and I, consider joining our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. Every week, Ben and I release a bonus hangout show and get into this stuff that's simply too hot for the main feed. We're going to talk about the different types of white people it's okay to be racist to, which I think we
I thought we were going to get to. Weren't we going to get to that?
Yeah,
was that supposed to be this? Okay. Well, you didn't really remake your argument, but okay.
I think it's pretty self-evident. I actually don't. I do actually feel more protective towards the French than any of the other types of whites.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
Interesting. The hatred in your heart, folks. Help Will. Give him a YouTube comment to guide him.
I'm getting a little out over my skis on this. The bit is it's a little too tenuous, but I do think the earnest point. You can kind of make fun of Irish people.
You can talk about leprechauns. Okay.
You can talk about leprechauns. That's what I mean. Yes. That's what I mean.
Okay.
They put it on a cereal box, for God's sake. Come on.
They put a lot of other stuff on cereal boxes, to be fair. Putting things on.
O.J. Simpson was on the Wheaties.
Food. Well, that's not the direction I was going to go, but yeah, they put other people.
Next week we are watching episodes 5 and 6 of season 5 of Lost. Join us next week. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.